Coco Gauff takes the loser's walk. Ouch. You have to feel bad as today was just not her day. Brought to you via the Doctrine of Fair Use, the Fair Dealing, and the Digital Millennium Act. We're going to talk about Coco Gauff, what's next for her, but we're also going to take a look at Jasmine Paolini and her matchup against Sabalenka and how did she do it versus Coco. Listen, guys, watching this first set, or at least the first half of the first set, this was like watching two different matches. Coco dominated the first half of the first set, and you just saw the difference in levels of skill when it comes to forehand and backhand. However, I mentioned in the first video that Jasmine, she has to start with the serve. She has to get easier points. She has to speed Coco up. And listen, guys, you know this is a huge Coco channel. We all love Coco. She's an amazing talent. But she looks a bit heavy. And listen, guys, it happens during the course of your career, especially when you have a lot of time off, nearly a month between tournaments. It happens. In this match particular, I felt Jasmine used her speed. This match, without a doubt, Jasmine had the speed advantage, and it showed. Coco was one step behind. Once Jasmine realized, and Andrea Petkovic actually, she brought this up in the post-match interview, and it was a good point. She said, when you were down 4-2, it seemed like you started to play faster. You upped the ante. That's exactly what she did. And this is how tennis works. And this is why I think, there's been talk about having the females possibly play that, extra set, the best of five, like the male slam tournaments. What do you guys think? Best of three or best of five? What do you prefer? And the reason why is we know when it comes to the best of five, when it comes to the slams on the male tour, the better player is normally going to win. Now, whether that's the person that's in the better shape at the moment, the person that, mentally is dealing better with the elements, but physical condition is a big factor when it comes to the males winning the slam. Now, on the lady side, yes and no. Why? Because, again, this is also a big point when we're talking about marketing and selling the game. A lot of people like the advantage that you're getting those extra sets. Of course, it's got to be competitive, but you're getting the extra sets on the male slam matches, and it's more value for your ticket. However, the argument in contrast to that is it's too long to be sitting in a hard chair, right? Some selling points on the women's game, being the best of three, is it's a shorter match. It's more excitement. The attention span has dropped in society with, electronic devices and social media. So a lot of people think that's the advantage of going to the women's game. You can watch it, get on with your life. However, conditioning is going to play a factor on whether it's male or female, both sides of the coin, because this match in particular, I think Jasmine, the only reason she was able to win this match, I think her conditioning was just a little bit better than Coco's today. Coco seemed sluggish. And again, it could, maybe she wasn't feeling well. She didn't look, to me, watching Coco play literally every match the last 4 years, I've watched her play. She looked like she wasn't feeling well today. She looked like she wasn't feeling well. She came off, probably played just off of her skill and emotion to get up 4-2, but it finally caught up with her. She looked like she wasn't feeling well. She looked sluggish. And again, it seems like she's put on weight. Is that me? I know TV adds 10 pounds, but watching Coco play, we all watch Coco. It seems like Coco put on some weight, right? With that time off. She's got a lot going on. She's a businesswoman. She's huge with philanthropy. She's wanted everywhere. She's so big. She's the face of the sport. But is it the coaching staff? A lot of people are mentioning that. I don't think there's anything wrong with her coaching staff. I just think she had a long layoff back and is going to take time to find her rhythm. This was a winnable match. It really was. But again, I just felt Jasmine, the only thing that she could do, she did. Play faster, and it worked to her advantage. And again, I'm going to pivot back to the best of the best of three when it comes to slams on the female side of things, in contrast to the best of five on the male side of things, is not only conditioning, but rhythm, right? The longer the match, the better player is normally going to win. Whereas on the female side of things, you can argue that the matches are so short that if your opponent catches fire, if they find a rhythm, if they get hot, before you know it, you get broken once, this match is over. And I felt Jasmine sped up her play. She started to play faster. Coco couldn't find herself back into the match. She did get a break because she's an amazing defensive player in that fifth service game in the second set, but she wasn't able to find her rhythm on the service side because Jasmine was playing too fast. That's a Jordan fist pump. Congratulations to Jasmine Paolini. Listen, I've been supporting her when no one was checking for her. Beautiful smile, beautiful personality. She always stops and says hello. I think she's an amazing talent. Who's going to get a signed ball from Jasmine? The lucky player that or person that gets it. Congratulations to you. As we take a look at the stats here, guys, I'm telling you guys, Jasmine just cleaned house in these statistical categories. She did very, very well. Only one ace, but zero double faults, as Coco had three. I felt she did a good job of controlling those. But Jasmine, she only won, guys. She only won 54% of her first serve. So Coco did put the pressure on her. She made it a sloppy match. But the problem was Jasmine won the second serve of Coco. That's right, guys. 61% of Coco's second serves. And she was very consistent with the break points. 5 for 10 when it came to breaking Coco. And you can see there, she pretty much dominated everything. The winners, she controlled her error count. And I felt that the unforced errors on Coco's side really, really hurt her a lot in this match. What's next for Jasmine Paolini? Listen, she's going to take on Aryna Sabalenka. That head-to-head is 4-2. And she talked about in her post-match interview, she actually was a little funny there. Why don't we pivot? So Jasmine Paolini, again, she was asked by Andrea Petkovic, how does it feel, right, being at this level? Did you think it was possible? And Jasmine would go on to say the difference now between maybe a couple years ago on tour is really her confidence. She said she would play a lot of the top players and she would lose 6-1, 6-2. And she said, let me stop because I play Sabalenka tomorrow and I don't want her to beat me 6-1, 6-2. Listen, I felt confidence was a big key in her climb back to being an amazing player, because I just felt that a lot of times it's all about opportunity as well, right? When you're outside of the top 50, it's tough to get into it's very tough to get into the Porsche Grand Prix to begin with. But when you're outside of the top 50, 60, maybe hang around the 70, it's going to be nearly impossible, because a lot of these tournaments, they're invitation only. Even for the qualifiers, you see there's a lot of German players here that wouldn't get the opportunity in any other tournament. And this is a prestigious tournament here. It really is one of the better tournaments on tour. But when you're outside of the top 50, it's tough to get into these tournaments if you're just not a popular player, right, that the fans like. And I feel Jasmine's issue was playing in a lot of these other tournaments, just getting a bad draw, just getting a bad deal. She wasn't really able to showcase her talent, but combine the fact that she's improved her forehand, because she's always been very fast and athletic and explosive. Her backhand's been pretty good. She's improved her forehand, and I just felt that's been the key. And then you add in a big win against Sabalenka. Remember, guys, I called and gave you this prediction when she really, really took things by storm in March 22nd at the Indian Wells, where she went 3 sets with Sabalenka, and she really, really took the tennis world by storm. A lot of people didn't think she could beat Sabalenka, but I told you, I actually gave you that underdog prediction that she would beat Sabalenka at the Indian Wells there. That was one of the big wins that really jump-started things for Jasmine Paolini. But she's only beat Sabalenka on hard, right? And Andrea also talked about this, where we know Sabalenka's the hard court queen right now, but she's also really good on clay. Jasmine's Italian. We know her father's African, but I think Jasmine's mix between clay and hard is pretty balanced. I think she's a very, very explosive player, and that transfers to any surface. But I do think going into the matchup tomorrow, she's going to have to speed Sabalenka up. Sabalenka hasn't had the time on court that Jasmine's had. Jasmine's had This is her third match. She took out Ava Liz, a good defensive player, Julie Niemeyer, and Coco. Look, an amazing talent. So, I mean, she's played 6 sets. Sabalenka's only played 2. I feel that conditioning could be a big issue here. And I'll be honest with you, I think Jasmine can beat Arena Sabalenka, and I'm going to pick her to beat Arena Sabalenka. I think Sabalenka didn't look that great against Elisa Mertens, and Mertens doesn't have the speed of Paolini. The fact that Paolini beat Coco, I do think she's going to beat Sabalenka, and I'm telling you, all she has to do is speed Sabalenka up. Continue to believe, continue to be confident, and she said she's the same person. She's a beautiful person, and she just felt that a couple years ago, the mountain to climb, getting to the top 10 or being a star player was just too high. But now she has the confidence. She believes in herself, and she's got nearly 250 wins on clay. More than half of her wins have come on the clay surface. Jasmine's an amazing talent, guys. And yes, she does have a main tour clay championship under her belt. We saw her win Croatia a few years ago, and she's got lower level titles as well, over 10 double-digit lower level titles. Jasmine's amazing, guys. The only player to make the French Open and SW19 final back-to-back since Serena Williams did it. I have her taking out Arena Sabalenka, and in fact, I think she's got a great chance to win this tournament. Comment below, guys. What's wrong with Coco? Was she a little too heavy? Does she look sluggish? I thought it was a combination of her just not feeling well because she wasn't moving well on the clay. I felt when Jasmine sped her up, that was the difference maker in this match. Comment below, guys. Jasmine defeats Coco. What's next for Coco? Well, we're going to get ready, guys, for Madrid and Rome. I think Coco's got to win one of these clay championships. She had a great opportunity here to pass Pegula again for number 3, but that's not going to happen. We'll see you soon.